Hi, I'm Leo and welcome to Scold Me. In my last video, I covered the primitive data types, which are numbers, boolean, and string. Now in this video, I'll be going over array, which is one of the object data types and also an integral part of JavaScript. Alright guys, at the end of this tutorial, if you think the video was helpful, please hit the like button, and if you have anything to say or any questions, just leave a comment, and if you're new, please consider subscribing for more updates. Alright, in JavaScript, array is a single variable that is used to store different elements. Now, it is often used when we want to store list of elements that is more than one element and access them by a single variable. Now, arrays can be used to store the same data type or different data types. And in JavaScript, arrays are 0-based and use 32-bit indexes. Now I'll move to my text editor and show you what I mean. Alright, in writing your array, there are two basic methods. One is the use of the array literal and the other one is the use of constructors. So I'm going to put the two, but it's advised to use the array literal. Okay, first you declare your array and then you put the name. Here I'm going to go with fruits. You put your equal sign and you open up your square brackets. Now this is the literal method. Now you put your quotation mark and you put the name of the fruits, let's say mango, and I'll put my comma and put the next one, let's say apple, and I'll put my comma and put the third one, and let's say pawpaw or pineapple. Let's go with pawpaw, and I'll put my comma, and that's the next one, let's say orange. And so this is basically how you do the literal method. Now when I want to call out this function, now remember to put your semicolon. I'm going to use my alert, so I'll put my alert here and I'll open up my bracket and I'll type the name fruits and I'll put my semicolon here and save. Now when I do this, I'll go back to I'll open this up in now. Alright, if you don't know how to link your JavaScript, your external JavaScript to your HTML code, is really simple. Since you're already used to CSS, in place of href you put your source and then you type the folder where the file is and you put the name of the file. Alright, let me open this up in my browser and you can see it has output the list of items that we have there. Now if you're actually using numbers, there's no point putting this quotation mark. You can just type in your numbers like so. Now like I said before, we use the array to write different data types. You can see that is so. When I save this and go back to my web browser and reload, you see it's going to output all my list. Now here you'll notice that I have 100, which is a number, and I have true, which is a boolean, and I have all these strings. Alright, now the next way of doing this is I'll come here and put new array. Now I can't even spell new array, and instead of using square brackets, I'll use all normal brackets here, and when I save and go back to my web browser, you'll notice that it's still going to output the same thing. So when I reload, notice it's going to output the same thing. So these are the two basic methods of writing your array, but it's best you use the first one, which is called the literal method. Alright, next there's something else called index. Now the first element is actually 0 according to the index. Is actually a way they count the number of items in your array. So the first one is called 0, the second one is 1, 2, and so on. Alright, next is array length. Now every array has a length property, and it is this property that makes array a bit different from regular JavaScript objects. Now the length of an array is actually the total count of the elements in that array. So when I want to actually know the length of this array, all I'll do here is put my dot length. Now when I do this and save, when I go back to my browser, instead of giving me the list in this array, is going to actually give me the length of the array. Now let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, so we have 4 elements in that array. So when I reload, I expect to get the number 4. So that's what the array length is. Now you can actually set the length of your array, and you can add and remove from it. Alright, to set the length of your array, all you do is you type the name of the variable and you put your dot and you type length. Now after this, you put your equal sign and you put the number that you want. Now 3, meaning that I want the first 3 elements. Now when I save and go back to my browser, you would notice that it's going to output just the 3 elements. Now I can also go back and change this to 2. Now when I save and reload, you notice that it's going to output just the first 2 elements. Alright, that's how you set the length of your elements. Alright, next is changing an array element. Let's say you want to change a particular element here, but you don't want to come here and change that. Now you can do that by you type the name of the variable, which is fruits, then you open up your square brackets. Now the other time I talked about indexing. Now this is where you use indexing. Now this is 0, 1, 2, 3. So basically we use the index to know the position of these elements. Now I want to change this one, so I'm going to put 0 here, and then I'll put my equal sign and put my quotation mark, and I'm going to put the new name. So let's say I want it to be banana. Now when I save, you'll notice that instead of outputting mango, which is in position 0, is going to output banana. So let me go to my web page and reload. Now when I reload, you'll notice that my first element here is banana and not mango. Now that's how you change your array elements. Now when adding your array objects, you can do that using indexes. Now you notice this is 0, 1, 2, and 3, so the next one will be 4. So when I come here and put 4 and save, when I go back to my browser, you would notice that it's going to add banana to the list. Now I have banana here. Now when using this method, you have to be careful, because when I also come here and type 5, notice that when I go back, it's going to still output banana there. But the problem is I am going to create something called undefined whole. Now when I reload this, notice is still going to be banana, but you can see we have 2 comma here. This is really small. Now what this is saying is that I have an undefined whole here. Now undefined is a term we use for an empty space in JavaScript. Alright, now apart from using the index method to add arrays, there is something else called popping and pushing. Now we use popping to remove the last array, and we use pushing to add another array. For example, when I come here and type fruit and put my dot pop, and open up my bracket here. When I save and go back to my browser, you will notice that it's going to remove the last element here being orange. Now when I reload my page, you notice that orange is no longer there. Now the next one is portion. We use that to add a new array length. So when I come here and write push, and let's say I want to add banana to my list, I'll put my quotation mark and I'll write banana. Now when I save, when I go back to my web browser, you will notice that it's going to add banana to my list. So we use popping to remove and we use pushing to add. Alright, there's something else called shift and unshift. Just like we used pop to remove the last element, we use shift to remove the first element. So let's say I want to remove this first element here. I'm going to type my variable, and instead of the name, I'm going to put X, and then I'll put my equal sign and I'll put the name of the variable, which is fruits, and I'll put dot shift, and open my brackets. Now when I save, you'll notice that it's going to remove this first element here. Now when I go back to my web browser and reload, notice that it has removed the first element. Now we use on shift to actually add a new element. Let's say I want to add a new element. I'll put my on shift and I'll remove all of this. So I'll just put the variable name and on shift, and I'll put the name of the new elements that I want to add. Let's say cocoa. Now when I save and go back to my browser, you'll notice that it's going to add cocoa to my list. Now you can see it has added cocoa to my list. Now you might be wondering, so far I've been using different methods to add or remove elements from this array. You might be wondering, why not just go here and change this? Now you're going to create an array, probably you're using it in different places and you want to change one or two things, so it will be rather inappropriate to go and do it here because it's going to alter a lot of things. Next, you can actually use the operator delete to remove any elements. So here I'll type delete and put a space and write the name of my variable and open up my square bracket, and whichever element I want to remove, I'll just check the position. This is 0, 1, 2. Let's say I want to remove purple. I'll come here and put 2. Now when I save and go back to my browser and reload, you would notice that purple will no longer be on my list. So you can see it has actually removed purple from the list, although it created an undefined here. Alright, there's another method that you can use to add and remove elements, but here you can actually determine the position that you want the elements to be in your array, and this is what we call splicing. So here, to do that, I'm going to write the name of my variable. I'm going to put dot splice, and I'm going to open up my bracket here. Now the first position is where I want this element to be. Now I want it to be in this first position, so I'm going to put 0 and I'll put my comma. Now the second value is the number of elements I want to remove. Now let's say I want to remove just two elements. That means I'm replacing it with 2, and the last one is the elements that I want to add. So let's say I want to add lemon, and I'll put my comma, and let's say I also want to add kiwi. So lemon and kiwi. Now when I save and go back to my browser, you would notice that the first item in this array has been removed, and because I said I was removing 2, you can see mango and apple will no longer be there. You can see there is no mango, there is no apple, so I've replaced it with these two elements. So this method is really cool because you can determine where you want the new element to be, and you can determine the number of elements you want to add and the number of elements you want to remove. Alright guys, this way I'll stop. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video.